Hi, I'm Gabby, and welcome to Gabbing with Gabi. In this series, we sit down with fellow wet on wet oil painters who have brought their knowledge and talent to the world via the internet. It's a great chance to sort of let them put down their paintbrushes and talk about themselves, and it also gives us the ability to get to know them on a better level. So, without anything else said, I would say this is our guest. Kenny, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Kenny K, and like Gabby said, I am a fellow wet on wet oil painter. So I'm excited to do this interview. And yeah, whatever you want to know, I'm an open book.
Awesome. Well, would you like to tell us where you're from, generally speaking?
Yeah, New York City,
Wow.
the city that never sleeps.
I I guess not. I hope you get some sleep though.
Well, that's another problem, but
Right? That happens in the city that never sleeps. Okay. And oil. What made you gravitate to oil paint?
well, I've actually been doing art my whole life, but it was only really, I guess, recently, 3 years is recent, that I've touched on oil mediums. And when you don't know anything about oil mediums or uh, something different, you feel a little intimidated. But I mustered up the courage, especially since it was during the pandemic, to just, you know what, go for it. Everything's shut down. Who's going to see it? And try oils, because someone who doesn't know anything about it or had a lot to learn, oh, all you're doing is mixing mud. But when you learn how to control it, when you practice, practice, and practice, it's just like anything else. You'll get it down. So oils wasn't something I tried, and I like to challenge myself. So I was like, that's the next step.
Yeah. And do you prefer it, or is there other mediums that you prefer to do artwork in?
No, I prefer oils now. Look at that. And before oils, I did do acrylics. So I was like, acrylics are the best mediums. You mess up, you just wait till it dries. In 5 minutes, you paint right over it. And yes, that's still true. But now that I know how to really understand that oils are a forgiving medium, I'm like, yeah, oils.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you like to do different subjects, or do you prefer to do landscapes, or kind of?
Well, at least my channel is known for its landscapes, but I do still life. I do a lot of fan art. So I've done a black and white picture of Laurel and Hardy. There's this one of Dracula, and then uh, I've done some comic book characters. There's so much I plan to do, but still life is what I like to do, and still in oils. And technically, it's still wet on wet, alla prima, because wet on wet painting derives from that. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, okay, awesome. Because we spend so much time, like, seeing you doing your landscapes, and I think sometimes people get the idea that all you ever do is oil paint and all you ever do is landscapes, and so it's good to know kind of the other side of that. And
It's
so you said,
it's okay if they know that. It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. You said that you've been painting for about 3 years.
Mhm.
Um, what specifically, I guess you kind of touched on that, how you got into it, pretty much the pandemic and just wanting a challenge, or is there more to that?
Yes. So painting with oils, 3 years. Acrylics, since my teens. Art in general, my whole life. Ever since I was old enough to pick up a crayon. Now, I don't even know what I'm doing. Just young toddler or whatever, and there's a piece of paper, or maybe I drew on the walls or something. Uh, it's that kind of story where it's like I just always gravitated towards color, drawing, no matter what I was using. It doesn't have to be anything professional. It could have just been a pen and paper. I'll just start doodling, and my mind just has to do something. So it was always my favorite subject in school. And some people won't, like, oh no, I mean, what's your favorite subject? I mean, like science, math, history. I'm like, no, it was art. I like doing art. And it's like, but my whole life, and I've always tried to maintain creativity in multiple ways.
Okay. And do you take your art and use it to make a living, or is it just something that's kind of a hobby?
By today's standards, it has to be a hobby. Of course, I would love to make a living from it, only because it's the only thing I want to do. I mean, who wants to go to wake up and work for the man 9 to 5 and be a slave to the system? I want to just, be at peace with myself, do what I love doing. And I would like to make a living off of it. And, I'm trying my best to take it as far as it can go.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Awesome. You touched on some other painting hobbies and stuff, but do you have other hobbies outside of painting?
Yes, I have two other forms of art that I do. Well, one, I'm actually in a punk rock band with my best friend and also my brother-in-law, who's the drummer. We're called Radioactive Material, and if anyone were to watch any of my videos or visit my channel, it's the song I use in the beginning and the end of my videos. So there's some shameless self-promotion there. So we play when we can, we write when we can. We do that for fun. Granted, we do have an album out, which everyone can check out on Spotify, iTunes, etc. So I also do acting. I'm a Meisner trained actor. I've appeared in a lot of independent things as well as web series, and currently trying to find an agency that will take me. But acting, I would say, is actually really where my dream and biggest ambition lies right now.
Awesome. That's great. I feel like as artists, we're required to have an artist that inspires us. So who inspires you?
Well, unfortunately, I can't just pick one. And I do have to say, other artists in general inspire me, especially the ones that I know personally and ones that are my friends or ones that I've first known as artists and have become friends with. I've even featured some of them on my channel. My friend Christine Cruz and Jess Romero, who are wonderfully skilled and talented photographers. And most recently, I had my friend Joe Bushman on the latest episode, who paints with acrylics. And then, of course, people who always send me in paintings of their own that I show off in my videos, and even your YouTube channel that I recently found when you reached out, and subscribing and seeing everybody else's artwork. I feel it keeps the ball rolling, the world turning for all of us, because that's what it's all about. I firmly believe in uplifting and supporting each other.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely agree. I think there's two kinds of people in this world: people that push other people down and people that lift other people up. And I really think that that is what the world needs to be. Um, is there any sort of natural area that you like to derive like inspiration from, certain types of landscapes or anything like that?
I have a favorite type of landscape to do. I like the traditional warm landscapes. Blue skies, couple clouds, a mountain, green trees and bushes. It might sound basic, but I get some serious dopamine effects, not just looking at it, but painting it as well. And unfortunately, especially being in the city, I don't get out much. So painting that kind of a landscape, I like, because that's where I would like to travel and take a vacation and relax and see.
An escape from the city?
Hmm.
Yeah. With oil paint, how long did it take you to feel like you were proficient in it?
I mean, I don't feel like I'm proficient now. They say, an artist is their own worst critic. And I firmly believe that's true. I can't ever look at myself as proficient. I can't look at myself in any of the forms of art that I do as in, oh, I'm okay, I'm good enough now. I believe for myself, once I see myself like that, then what's the point? I always want to keep learning. I always strive to do better. And not because I'm trying to compete with anyone, which would be a waste of time, but only because I'm competing with myself. So that's all I'm saying. I just don't ever see a cap on learning and calling myself a master at something and saying, okay, I'm done. Yeah, like this is the highest rank I can achieve. So yeah.
When you first started painting, did you have like a certain amount of pictures that you painted and you're like, nobody can ever see these? Or were you kind of pretty good at it to begin with?
I would have to say, when I started, I was like, oh, it was pretty good, right? But because I've grown and, like I said, learned so much, now it's like, no, I won't show the first ones.
Yeah.
The ones I can do now. Yeah, look at these. But if I really have to, in order to inspire someone to get them out of their shell, I'd be like, look at this thing. This is the first one I did. Now look where I am. So I feel a little embarrassed, but hey, like I said, we gotta do this to each other. We gotta keep that artistic world turning. So
Absolutely. How long before you started filming yourself oil painting?
I'd say the first year. Well, actually, no, the first year I started filming myself, but not like anything on my channel. It was more like time lapsed videos, and it was more to sort of as a guide for myself and learn. And like, yeah, I'm painting it, but let me see what I look like while I'm painting it, and then you know, because I started filming myself and like doing all the research online, and I'd see tons of artists on YouTube. I was inspired. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I should upload these clips to YouTube, or maybe I should do full length real time painting like I do now. And so I was just, I guess I was pretty confident almost right away.
Great. Yeah. Let's see. What was easy? What came easy for you in the process when you kind of first started?
Well, I mean, not to be repetitive, but going back to being inspired, that's the easiest thing. Seeing other artists do great and prosper, that really motivates me and gets me going. Just seeing everybody having the confidence, and I guess I have an advantage since, like I said, I have a artistic background going all the way back to when I was a baby, really. So just seeing that, like, hey, you're doing that too. Oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
Was there anything that was particularly difficult when you first started oil painting?
And when I first started, not really. It helped at the time to have all the time in the world
Oh, sure, yeah.
to figure everything out. Because, like I said, we were on lockdown, and figure out what tools to get, and study whatever online, a little bit of art history here and there. So in the beginning, I really can't recall what was difficult.
That's good. You're one step ahead of the rest of us. Is there anything specific that you're still trying to master, or do you kind of feel like, like specific things like trees or fences or mountains or birds or anything, or do you kind of feel like everything is just sort of even?
I trying to master being better than I was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then next year, I'm going to feel the same way about this year. So, in terms of any specifics, trees, bushes, seascapes, everything, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I can paint a better landscape featuring a better looking mountain, better foliage, and skies and water next year. I will leave no stone unturned.
Absolutely. Do you sell your work?
So I sell my art on a very, very personal level. Anyone who's interested in my art, they can hit me up. They can email or message me personally. If you want to commission a piece, you can contact me as well. But I don't post my art on Etsy. I don't have a profile on there, or platforms in general that take too much of an unfair cut to artists. I don't agree with that. That's just my personal opinion and what works for me. It's hard enough to make a living as an artist. And as a matter of fact, it's a craft that will actually cost you money before you profit. So for every other artist out there, I hope you're making as much money as possible. You deserve it. And yeah, uh, just very personal. It like word of mouth. I get hit up a lot for a commission work on still life, and people wanting me to paint pictures of their pets or cats or dogs and everything.
Mm-hmm. Is there a specific type of animal that you really like to paint, or is it?
Well, I couldn't say specific because every animal is, or at least how I see it, unique, and every dog and cat's going to have a different color. And based on my reference photo, the values of the reflection of the light that it's giving off are going to be unique, because the lighting in that photo at the time, that's going to depend too. So yeah.
Do you have education past high school in doing like physical art, or was your education just in high school?
Would you consider acting a physical art,
Um,
or more so
yeah,
the traditional
yeah,
that we're talking about? Or
right, yeah, more of the traditional. I mean, I absolutely would love to hear about your acting too. But I just wonder, like, because you seem like you just have so much more knowledge, and a lot of people, and nothing against anybody, because everybody has different levels, but um, you just seem to have a higher level of understanding of a little bit more of like composition and that kind of stuff. So I just wondered if you had any more education outside of.
after high school, I had a semester and a half of college, and I took a course on art history. But maybe there was no point in saying that because I don't think it helped me. So I all in all, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay. You just got
But
to
I
figure it
want
out.
to know that, like, look at that. I mean, that's if you think my art's good. I mean, look at that. Someone with no actual, professional. Yeah.
Hmm. I really think that the more education we have, the more we become the education that we have, and the less we become artists. So I don't know personally.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Is there anything that you think makes you unique as an artist?
Hmm. Well, I mean, look at me. I won't reveal my age, but I'm older than I look. I've always been the outcast for whatever reason, the weird kid in school just because he refused to be no one else but himself. Maybe that doesn't make me so unique, but it sure feels that way during those moments when you have to put up with certain things. Maybe what makes me unique is I'm actually not concerned with what makes me unique, or maybe in just my old age I found out, not to care a lot about unnecessary material things because I have too many worries as it is, and I'm much happier just minding my own business these days and focusing on myself.
Right. Um, let's see. Advice for new painters. What advice do you have for people just getting into this?
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
That's it.
But any type of mediums you work with, any type of uh, art, do your thorough research into the specific artwork you're interested in. You know, so in my case, and the art that I do, you can't, unfortunately, you just can't buy any old oil paints or any cheap brushes. You do have to use thick, firm paints, such as Winsor and Newton, Gamblin, or Grumbacher, just to name a few brands. You have to use natural bristle-haired brushes, and like things like that, they're quite essential. The skill and the talent will come. I know you guys have it, but unless you use the proper tools and equipment, you're going to get frustrated, and it's not even going to be your fault. So everything has a specific thing. Just understand that.
That's I hear a lot of advice from people, and that's actually a really different perspective on it. So I appreciate that. I think that's really good advice.
Oh, okay. Great.
What do you wish you had known when you started?
Uh, art in general or oil painting?
Oil painting.
Okay. Well, I don't want to dive too much into this, but there was a certain documentary about Bob Ross and his company that came out on Netflix like, what is it now, a year and a half ago? And all I'm going to say is that I wish I seen what that documentary entailed before I went out and bought some products from the BR company. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Mhm. Yeah. I think it's important to know where your money is going, especially when it's not going to a great place. I haven't actually seen that documentary, but I've heard references to it, and so
I feel like there's a lot of Bob Ross fans that haven't seen the documentary, and I always tell them, no, watch it. You'll love Bob even more. It's not him you're gonna feel any differently about. So if that's the case, I don't know.
yeah. Let's see. What do you want your internet influence to do to the world?
Ooh, well, my internet influence, your people, and I love you all to just be an influence to each other. Be kind to others, but don't forget to be kind to yourselves and stay creative.
Yeah. Let's see. What do you think your future, specifically in oil painting, is going to be? Do you think it's something you'll do for a long time, or something that you're just kind of passing through?
I really don't know. You know how like you asked what makes me unique as an artist? I will say no matter how far or how little I will go with any of my art, whether it be the painting, the acting, or the music, I'll still be doing it because I enjoy it. So I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'll be having fun. I'll be having fun because it's what I want to do.
Yeah, because you're an artist in here.
And if it's not fun anymore, then what's the point?
Yeah, then it's not fun. Okay, my bonus question for you. How do you have such fabulous hair?
Well, if I'm not going to tell anyone where to find this, but the internet is it's a gateway from one place to another. Yeah, I used to rock a pretty sick mohawk. I did say I was in a punk rock band, and like I said, I'm not going to reveal my age. I know I do look a lot younger than I probably actually am. The grays started coming in. You can't see it right now, so that kind of hit me with like a little bit of a between quarter and midlife crisis. Like, wait a minute, this is happening now. The next step is going bald. Now I'll have a little while till then, but I'm like, you know what? I want to grow my hair out just in case this is the one last time.
Yeah.
So having my hair look all greaser is really the only other hairstyle I was ever interested in. And like I said, and I guess that's another thing that makes me unique, being into things that the majority of people are not into. So I just do it the same way that they did back then. Pomades. Yeah. I have a whole collection of them. My
Um, when you were in high school, you talk about sort of being the outcast. Have you found that now that you're way past high school or however far past, it doesn't matter, since you're past high school, do you think that people embrace you more now um, because of your individuality than you did when you were growing up?
No, I don't think they embrace me more now. The frustrating thing is they embrace the things I was into back then. And it's like, wait a minute. These were the things you were making fun of me for. What the? And that's frustrating because it's like, you still didn't have to be my friend or anything. No one's entitled to anyone's time, but it's like, there's no reason to ever give anybody a hard time. You know what I mean? And if, not everyone's going to like everyone, and that's fine, but just leave them alone. You just leave people alone. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's that's it.
As we wrap this up, do you have any sort of final thoughts that you'd like to share with the wider world?
You know, my channel, the purpose is not just to teach, it's to try to shake people out of a shell because there are more people than you think that do want to try their hand at art. Or maybe it's not art, maybe it's something else. Maybe you want to lose some weight. Maybe you want to get into acting. Maybe you always wanted to play the clarinet, the guitar, or whatever, but they're afraid to. They're afraid of unwanted criticism. I'm just here to tell you, listen, people are going to criticize you no matter what. So you might as well just do it. And for every 100 people that like what you do, 1,000 people are going to speak out against you just because they got nothing better to do. So you might as well live your life. You might as well, go for it. And please do that. Don't be scared. And I would love to see what you have. And I think the world deserves to see it too.
That's a hard one to follow up. That was touching.
And on my channel, if, the bonus thing is if I can get a laugh out of you every now and then, there you go.
I was expecting you to start our interview with, "How the hell are you?"
Wasn't sure what the language barriers were on your channel.
Just be yourself. Tell us where people can find you.
So I'll make it really easy on Facebook, Meta, and Instagram, and of course the YouTube channel, Kenny's Greasy Paint. You'll recognize it all right away when you search for them. The only difficult one is the one I have on TikTok, where it's Kenny_K_paints. But Kenny's Greasy Paint, and even if you can't find the other one, as long as you find one, you'll find them all. I made sure to network easily and keep that in mind.
Great, good. Yeah. That's a lot more work than people think it is.
Yo, yeah.
Way more work. It's busy.
That's a whole nother thing. You could be the greatest artist in the world, and networking and all that. It's like something. Yeah.
Yeah. Just hire somebody else to do it.
Oh, I wish.
Oh, I know. Okay, well, I think that's it for our interview today. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed chatting with you. I hope that, sometime in the future, if we ever feel the need to do something like this again, that we can. And if I ever make it to New York City, I travel a lot. So if I make it up there, I'll hit you up. It'll happen.
Perfect. And, I would love to do an interview like this for my channel, and so to promote your art and your channel as well.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking for an interviewer.
I'll let you know. So. Yeah. I'm always looking for artists to promote. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of my gear to do this in the first place, because it's like, let's bond together. It doesn't need to be a competition.
Yeah, great on you. I see all these pieces of art, and art is subjective. That's in the museum and stuff, and it's like, really, this person's making money for this? And like, I know actual artists, like people who are struggling, and they actually put out great art. They don't just stick a piece of paper in the corner and then like people come to an exhibit and actually pay money for it. And it's like, what's that? But art's subjective. Not hating, just saying, there's real people out there that deserve the attention.
Yeah, well, you're one of them.
Thank you for saying that, and I really appreciate this.
Yeah, and if for any other reason, if you need a good laugh, it's great watching your channel. But your art is great too. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's it for our episode today. If you guys have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section of the video and we'll do our best to address them. I'm Gabby. This is Kenny. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. That would be very helpful. Until next time, I really do hope that you guys fall in love with oil painting just as much as we have. Bye, guys.